Center line is what horizontal line cuts it in half. Again, the x-axis, y equals 0. What's the y-intercept? Is where it crosses over the y-axis, 0, 0. Domain. What values for x? Here's my x values that I can think of and all the ones in between. So looking at those infinite number, do you see there are some x values? So we can say x is an element of the reals such that x does not equal certain values. And one of them is negative pi over 2. Pi over 2. The tangent curve will never reach or touch that value. And the next one would be 3 pi over 2 and etc. in both directions. So that is the domain. Everything except the asymptotes. The range. What values for y? So any value for y that I put in here, if I go left or right, I'm going to touch the graph. So y is an element of the reals, tells the reader all real numbers. Alright, so be able to answer questions like that, similar to that, and we'll be good. Alright, so then once we got the three basic graphs, we then start messing with them, such as this. Alright, so this is our amplitude. It makes the mountaintop goes up higher and the valley goes down lower. This is the period change where k equals 2 pi divided by the period. We use this as our key to get the period if we need it. This is left-right. And it's the opposite. That's what that negative sign means. So if I have a positive pi over 2 there, it moves it to the left, pi over 2. And this number is the up-down. It can also appear in the front, up here. It could say I can move this plus b over here and put it in y equals b plus. So either way, it's an up-down. Alright, with that, let's do 1. Let's do y equals, say, 3 sine of 1/2 x. X or theta are commonly used for the variable. So this I see I have an amplitude change and I have a k or a period change. What will the new period be? Well, we know the key is k equals 2 pi divided by the period. We need to know this. K is this, whatever's in this position. So 1/2 equals 2 pi over p. P equals 4 pi. Alright, so I usually start with a regular sine curve. 2 pi, pi, 1 and minus 1, but this is going to go up to 3 and down to minus 3. So I'll stretch it up. I haven't changed anything else but the amplitude, so I took care of that. And now the new period is 4 pi, so I'm going to take this amplified version, and there's 3 pi and 4 pi, and I've got to stretch it. So this had one mountain and one valley, and I'm going to stretch that. So it's one mountain and one valley and 4 pi. Still going up to 3 and down to minus 3. Now this goes on forever, but if you graph one period, that will help me grade it, and it makes it clear what you mean. Alright, So you'll be able to, let's do one more combo like that, and we'll call it a weekend. And we'll practice in class, and we'll have one more review video. Write all these down for credit for watching this video. All that stuff about amplitude and domain, all those lists must be in your comp book for credit for this video. Alright, so we will look at this. Let us take the cosine curve, regular cosine, starts at 1, and this is pi, and this is 2 pi, and this is minus 1. There's your basics. First of all, I noticed it's been inverted, negative, so I'm going to turn it upside down. So now I'm interested in that one. I do this next, so there is my key again. So k equals 2 pi divided by the period. I know k is 4. 4p equals 2 pi. P equals pi over 2. So this is going to squish it up. So this has to be squished in there. Alright, that was a squish. Alright, and lastly, the whole thing is dropped 1. So this comes down to here. This goes down to here. And this goes down to here. And I pretty much get the gist of it. See if I can keep darkening it so it'll stand out in this morass. It's a maelstrom of lines. Alright, so let's just see what the domain would be if I was going to ask you for the domain of this darkened one. Well, this is going to go forever, up and down, just like this one period. So the values for x will always connect to this graph. So it's x is an element of the reals. The range, however, what values for y will connect to this graph? Well, if I'm down here, I can go right and left and never touch that graph. If I'm up here, if I go right and left, the values for y will never touch that graph. So which values for y will connect to this graph? It's going, since we moved everything down, this is down to minus 2, this is at 0. So we have y is an element of the reals such that minus 2 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 0. So you can say that in plain language. You can say all reals between minus 2 and 0 are the members of the range. Alright, we will finish our review on Monday and Monday evening in preparation for Tuesday's test. So you have a good weekend and see you on Monday. Bye.